You know, there's a lot of different things that we calculate based on life expectancy. Insurance companies look at their annuity contracts, and certainly pension plans, when calculating their pension liabilities, are looking at life expectancy. And we talked about this a little bit earlier this year, but the Society of Actuaries, after 14 years, updated its infamous mortality tables, and a 65-year-old man can now expect to live to 86.6. I don't know how you live to a point number, but 86.6 years life expectancy, up from 84.6. But here's what's even more interesting. Since 2000, life expectancies for white-collar men age 65 increased by almost 3 years to 88.1. So now there's a distinction between white-collar workers and blue-collar workers. In fact, right now, the white-collar worker outlives the blue-collar worker by about 2.5 years. What's even more interesting is that doesn't necessarily mean the white-collar worker is going to live out that extra 2.5 years without needing some kind of care. As you've heard me say for many, many years in this program, you can't go from healthy to dead without, in most instances, becoming sick along the way. Erik Davis joins me from Always Best Care right outside of Washington, D.C., Arlington, Virginia. Erik, thank you for joining me. I found the mortality information fascinating in that a lot of your clients and future clients will most likely be white-collar workers who actually have the money to afford the type of care that might be needed. What say you?
I would agree with that, Ray.
Now, talk about where this is going. There's 10,000 baby boomers that are retiring every single day. That's likely to continue for the next 10 years. We know that home health care is expanding by leaps and bounds. Where do you see the future going?
I see the future being a mix of technology as well as having people and healthcare professionals inside homes. We see a constant trend and a new trend, well, not truly new, but people wanting to stay in their own homes. But of course, as the expense of healthcare increases, people just don't know what to do. And most people are a little hesitant to actually use technology. But of course, we've started a program here in Arlington, Virginia, where we're introducing technology early on with aging seniors and aging adults, so as to help them get accustomed to technology, and then it allows them to reduce their costs in the future, as well as keeping them safe and secure in their future years as well.
Yeah, I definitely want to get into that, but very quickly, when you talk about costs, can you kind of give us a general idea? I know you can't get too specific, but can you give us a general idea of what the difference is between going into an assisted living facility, which many have to for a number of obvious reasons, versus staying at home and receiving, for example, home health care? What is that cost differential? Do you know that?
Sure. Of course, I'm going to give them ranges because I don't want to tie anything to be too specific. But of course, in the DC metro area, you can get you can go to an assisted living facility between $3,000 at the one lower end of the range, but you can also spend up to $10,000. Of course, the $10,000 is, it all based on types of how much is included, food and other amenities. Of course, and then if you're going to do someone coming to your home for 24/7 care, it can range from almost $7,000 a month to again $12,000 to $14,000. But of course, it all is based on what's the level of care and what people enjoy and like. But if you look at the comparison with those two amounts to having technology such as pill dispensers, automated pill dispensers, if you have the 911 alert systems, as well as the monitoring, the future is also monitoring to locations as well as the sensors. This comes to a cost of a monthly fee around like $1,500. So you see the difference in the pricing right there.
That's really interesting and quite phenomenal. I've discussed this before with many of the folks at Always Best Care, and few have actually brought up this idea of utilizing technology. Now, would you go into a home and install cameras in various rooms so that someone remotely can monitor the senior so they wouldn't have to be there 24 hours a day?
Due to privacy, we don't like cameras. So it's one of those things where in the day and age where cameras are everywhere, most people still want that sense of privacy within their homes. So that's where we go back to the remote sensors, such as whether or not a weight sensor in your bed or a motion sensor if you've walked by a certain area. To prevent accidents in the bathroom, you can now put in technology where if you enter into the bathroom with a motion sensor, but you don't egress from that bathroom within a 5 to 10 minute period, it will send an alert to someone or to a 24/7 call center that can call you to make sure that you're okay. These are the things that they can be done, and they can be done very cheap in the sense of technology is only getting cheaper. The problem with healthcare is that healthcare is one of the slowest industries to actually take into account technology because of HIPAA and all the other regulations that sort of put guidelines and standards on this type.
So what do you suppose? I mean, this is fascinating to me because I'm not a big techno wizard for certain, but I can understand what you're talking about here. This seems to me to be the most logical thing that one could do. Why is it so new? Why hasn't something developed more quickly?
Well, part of it is you have to look at your aging adults. In the Arlington, Virginia area, we've been more successful with dealing with people with special needs than aging adults. Aging adults, the generation prior, because right now we most of my clients are the generation prior to the baby boomers, and they of course were not raised and they didn't have cell phones that people were constantly on. Computers had just started to take off towards the middle or towards the later years, so their comfort with technology is at a different level. Again, where we have the people with special needs, the community that we deal with, community residents, they have a grant through Arlington County, and they are actually implementing this because what we've noticed is the people with special needs, they want to stay and to be self-sufficient. And this technology is allowing them to be self-sufficient and to live by themselves with very little interaction with other people.
Phenomenal stuff. Erik Davis from Always Best Care. You can contact Erik through the Always Best Care hotline, 855-470-CARE. If you want to learn more about technology and how you might be able to use it to care for a loved one, go to alwaysbestcare.com. Again, the number 855-470-2273, alwaysbestcare.com. Erik, fascinating, very, very interesting information. Thank you. We'll have you back. That's Erik Davis from Always Best Care. We'll be back.